it was a Saturday night. We were all at my house in Peckham. They were having like a lads' night out and I was honorary girl. We were drinking like, you know, that overproof rum and getting quite giddy and drinking Stella and being all rah. We were going to go out and as we got to the end of our road, we saw the bus was coming, so we had to leg it. You know, we were sort of carrying cans of beer and trying to run, and none of us are very fit. Just made it all pile onto the bus, and so from running, we were all like even more giddy. It was a full bus. People like us going on a night out, all sorts of people. Got to Peckham, and a little lad, he was like maybe about 12, a small teenage boy. He jumped on the bus and sort of got on one of the seats and sort of got his knees up and sat on the seat. He was scared and he crouched up straight away. And then, you know, sometimes the bus doors close, but there's still people wanting to get on the bus, and bang on the door. And a big group, somewhere between 10 and 15, teenage boys and girls, ran onto the bus. They seemed older, and they had like belts and sticks. And they just started battering him. It was just a bit like, whoa, what's going on here? And it was scary, because he was sort of sitting like this and sort of, you know, is anyone going to help me? And the first thing you sort of ask yourself is, am I going to do anything about it?
Geraldine and I had been to a lovely concert with a friend of ours, and so we were mellow, and we were walking back to the car and just sort of chatting and you know, had a good evening. It was about 11:30.
We were coming up Lower Marsh, and I know Lower Marsh quite well because I work there, so it's very familiar. You know, I usually feel very safe and secure walking up Lower Marsh.
So we were one side of the street, and there was this noise the other side of the street. It seemed like a row that was going on between three blokes. And it's the sort of thing you see in London or anywhere all the time. So that didn't particularly give us cause for concern. And we're obviously closing on them, and they're coming our way, but on the opposite side of the road.
It seemed very heated, and the next thing I saw was that one of the men actually threw a punch.
It was violent enough to deck him. You know, he went down like a sack of spuds. And from that point, it seemed to accelerate incredibly fast, and the guy on the floor was being kicked. It was as if the bloke's head was a football and he was taking a penalty. He was really kicking him hard in the head, and the chap's head was lolling like a rag doll. The image of it will last me for the rest of my life. His head was being kicked savagely.
One of the men was wearing a suit and looked fairly respectable, but he was really laying into this bloke. It was like he was enjoying it.
The guy on the floor wasn't really defending himself. He wasn't putting his arms up or trying to protect himself. I was thinking, he's not going to survive this. You know, no one can survive this amount of brutality. There weren't any passers-by. It was weird. You know, it was this strange hiatus in the middle of London where everything seemed to have stopped.
We work all day on a Saturday till 5, and I've been at work just a normal day, and I was due to go and see my girlfriend, and her lad phoned me up and asked me if I'd pop in the shop and just get him something on the way over. Pulled up outside the shop and there was no other vehicles there, so I parked right outside the doors. I went in, got a couple of bottles of pop and some sweets, I think. And I was just talking to the girls who was behind the till, and I was just about to leave, and we heard the electric door go. And as you do, looked over at the door, and this guy was stood in the doorway, completely blacked up, black sort of balaclava, face mask, something. Couldn't see his face, couldn't see his hand, black gloves, couldn't see his hand. And he's holding a black bag, and he got this bag right up to his chest like that. And he was just stood there. I thought, that's somebody playing trick-or-treating. I thought it's a bit late for trick-or-treat. And then this other guy comes barging in behind him, and he got a pistol in his hand, and he got it up like that, like Bond running into an action scene. And he, you know, shouted over, opened the safe and put all the money in the bag, the pistol at the ready.
Do it now!
And I looked back, and there's these two girls. And the younger one, I mean, her eyes were like saucers. They were just like huge with horror. And I'm stood there, the only bloke there, and this girl, like, absolutely terrified. You know, what do you do? The last thing you expect when you're popping in a local shop is somebody walking behind you with a gun.
Put the money in the bag.
It all happens so quick, but it all happens so slowly. There's not time to think about it. It's, you certainly can't plan for it. You know, you've just got to do whatever your instinct tells you at the time. There was nobody else to turn to. There was only myself there, so it seemed that it was my place to try and do something about the situation. I'd got to sort of act, really. So I said, think about it, chaps. I said, it's Saturday night. These girls, they won't have a combination for the safe, you know. There's no way they can open the safe. I said, cut your losses and leave now before the situation gets any worse. And this guy with a gun, he just thrust the gun in my face, shouting, get on the floor, get on the floor, get on the fucking floor. And I thought, well, if I go down on the floor, he's only going to shoot me in the back or kick me head in or something. And I thought, well, that's not an option. So I sort of put my hands out towards him and said, you know, sort of calm down. I was trying to, like, keep my hands low to not upset him. I was like, calm down, and he was just waving this gun in my face. And then the gun went off. The fact that it missed me, you know, was just either God on my side or just a stroke of luck. And then as he pulled the gun back, he managed to get a magazine out of his pocket or something, and it looked like he was going to put this magazine in the gun and reload it. And I thought, well, it's now or never. So I lunged at him and grabbed the pistol with both hands. I smashed him off the shelves, and he smashed me back at the shelves, and we were wrestling over the gun. And while I was trying to, like, twist him round, turn him, I noticed a knife in his other hand. I just saw the sparkle of the blade. It looked about like 3.5 inches long. And this blade was coming at me.
It's just so absolutely unfair, 10 against 1, with sticks, you know, and belts. It just seemed really cruel.